Hey guys, I'm going to the library. I just wanted to touch base and say a few things. That woman came back and she wasn't mad at me, so I gave her a note saying I'm really glad you weren't mad at me. I told my therapist I feared I had scared you away. Okay. I also gave her the note from the other day that I accidentally almost left with somebody else who was there that I was supposed to be that woman. Okay, that's two things. That's important things, actually. And I told her this morning, that I wanted to know if we could meet, but she had to go somewhere. So I said, well, I'm going away, visit my mom a couple days or so. But when I get back, I have a copy of that power of attorney and, and some other typed stuff for you to read. Especially she wants to read that power of attorney. And then I left her a message this morning saying, stressing that, Marion's husband drew up the power of attorney, and on top of that, Marion's two sons from a prior marriage signed the power of attorney as witnesses, okay? So it's all not kosher, whether it's legal or not, And to diaper, you have to bear in mind that, it's not that I don't think any guy would want me. You have to understand, I'm part wild animal now. And I can give you a great analogy. I'm part wild animal. I'm leery of all men. First of all, I'm not even, if I ever had it in me to give my heart to any guy, that's gone. That's over and done with, okay? So you have to look deeper when I say no guy's going to want me. I'm part animal now. Part wild animal, part abused animal, whatever you want to call it. And I'm about to give you a great analogy concerning Russell, an abused foster dog that I met this morning when I was stretching before I was going to go, catch the train to get to my mom's, okay? I was doing my stretching in that park like I do, and I met Russell and Trixie, and Russell is a foster dog, and his owner was an older woman. She's saying, I said, he's not friendly. She's like, no, he bites. And I said, oh, he bites? She's like, yeah, he's a foster dog. He's not mine. And I said, I said, was he abused? And she's like, yeah, and he's half blind because he was kicked. He's just a little dog like Omar, okay? He was abused, he was kicked, he bites. I'm sure it went over the owner's head, but I said to Russell, I said, yeah, Russell, I'd bite too. You hear me, world? I'd bite too. Okay? Remember, I'm not bitching and whining about what I went through in the past. I'm bitching and whining about what I went through over the past 6 years and even over the past 4 months. Okay? But if I showed this picture to anybody in that place, in the shelter, I was going to show it to a woman who was hinting around. She was traumatized, and I was going to say, you know what? I can relate. Mine's not recent. This picture is not from recent trauma. I'm in this place again because of recent nonviolent traumas. But, I can relate to trauma, and I can show her this picture that I can't find now. Happened to my fucking picture. I had it separate, so if I made a video, I could show it. No, I don't fucking have it. Okay, but yeah, you understand? So it's not that there's no guy that would want me. I am broken. I am not capable, if I ever was at all. I'm certainly not now. I've given my heart to any guy. And just for the record, I'm as leery. Here we go. Yeah, Russell, I bite too. Always one step ahead. I was a good girl then. Didn't think about death except on those rare occasions. But then they buried my dog and they threw me the bone, and I never found my way back home. I'd advise you to stay away. You don't want to come too near me, because I'll think nothing of taking your heart, rip it out with my teeth before you can even breathe. Yeah, Russell, the little terrier mix, probably the same size as Omar, but he was kicked and he was abused, and he's half blind now because of his abuse. And I said to the woman, that's admirable, you took him in, and she joked with me, she's like, yeah, I've tried to give him back 5 times and they won't take him. But apparently she's not forcing the issue, He bites. He's afraid of everything, and he bites just like I am. I'm just as leery as those homeless men who just as leery of those homeless men who leer at me as I am of men in suit and ties. I don't differentiate, okay? I can totally relate to you, Russell, and I said so to the owner, but she went over her head, I'm sure. I just said, yeah, I'd bite too, Russell. Okay? I'd fucking bite too. Anyway, I sent, this is stuff that emails that I've sent to one of my friends out here. Okay, this is important to put too. Yeah, Russell, I'd bite too. Oh, by the way, I don't fucking care. I don't care if people are looking at me exercising out in public. There's another older woman there, and she does. The woman today who had Russell and Trixie was like, are you doing Tai Chi? I'm like, no, I'm just stretching my own brand of whatever, okay? But I'm not the only one that goes to parks and exercises. I've seen groups of people exercise before, okay? But I don't care anymore, you understand? And the thing is, I'm not doing anything differently than I did other times I've been in the shelter, you know, when I was in there in the summer. Because remember, I wasn't allowed to visit my fucking mother. I got there in November of 12, and she didn't finally decide, well, you can come if you sneak, you know, till the summertime. So all those months I wasn't even allowed to visit her. She came and visited me once in a while, okay? That was bullshit, too. That was total fucking bullshit. I wasn't going to be arrested. There was no restraining. There was nothing. It's always Marion and that front office woman in cahoots to fuck with my mother's sick mind, okay? End of story. I no longer care. You understand? As long as I don't break any laws, any major laws, or hurt anybody, I can do whatever I want, and I no longer care. Are people looking at me? Sure. I stand out. I'm this voluptuous blonde who dresses in t-shirt and shorts all the time and bounces around with a Walkman in my ear. Of course I stand out. I don't care. You understand? I don't care. I'm sure I'm standing out when I'm stretching in that park, because I'm stretching where, you know, where people from the street can see. I don't care. I honestly don't care. And I'm just like Russell. Yeah, Russell, I'd bite too. I'd fucking bite too. Remember, I'm not bitching about what I went through as a child, or that's bad enough. I'm bitching about what I went through over the last 6 years, and even over the past 4 months. The shit with Marion and my mother, and the shit with the fucking landlord and Bobby, okay? Anyway, my friend's asking questions, so I'm not going to post what she says, but I'll just say, so she asked questions. Okay, so I wrote, at the time my mother, she supposedly signed that power of attorney. At the time she supposedly signed that power of attorney, my mom was working full-time and paying all her own bills, equal she was of sound mind. Okay, because she's saying, well, it's null and void if your mother was not of sound mind. She was of sound mind. She trusted her fucking sister, okay? She simply unwisely 100% trusted her sister, but I'm 100% positive that under the circumstances I would have done the same goddamn thing. Marion seemed like she was wonderful. She was helping my mom do all this crap my mom couldn't do on her own. I would have trusted Marion as well. I even thought Marion was wonderful until I didn't find out a year or so, whenever I found out in 2009 the real truth of the matter, okay? Remember, my mom called up in 2007. I just found out Marion has a power of attorney on me, crying her eyes out. Marion decided to declare it because my mom was selling the big house and getting the little house. And remember, my mom was going to retire and all this crap, and Marion knew, you know, now she has a right where she wanted her, okay? I'm really liking my therapist. Equals another reason for me not wanted to move to Rhode Island. She's nice. The therapist is nice. Doesn't mean that I believe for 1 second she'll actually be able to help me to any significant degree. And by the way, when I was getting angry in there, I was scratching at my arms. So my friend was asking me, what are you diagnosed with? I don't know what the fuck I'm diagnosed with. With what? With what? You know, to end with that. With what I'm diagnosed, I don't know. Okay? Anyway, these things take time. When I'm talking about, you know, the thing with the woman supposed to help me. She came back. Isn't that awesome? It's awesome. I left her a message. I just wanted to please apologize. Because I hung up the other day. I thought that, what did I think? Oh, it was before it was closing time, and I was going to ask. I left her boyfriend answered the phone, and I left a message. I said to her, you know, I was tipsy and I wanted to know if she wanted to if I got paid for a hotel, she wanted to go out with me. But I think she was either with her boyfriend or work or something. I don't know. Or she went back to that shelter, and I didn't wind up going there. I think she did go that night, but I didn't know all this. In any case, I said, apologize to your boyfriend for me. You know, I'm sorry I hung up. You know, I was lonely and tipsy and I wanted company. Okay? Okay? So anyway, I was telling my YouTube friend, all that woman who is she's dealing with her own shit could do for me was to try to contact lawyers who might not return her calls. Apparently they still haven't returned her calls. She said one's supposed to call her today, but you know they're lawyers in Reno. And then I was telling her, because my friend was like, well, why won't she help you? Well, she owes me nothing. I know you'll feel very bad for me if this thing doesn't pan out for me, but you have to bear in mind that I only met this woman a few days ago and she owes me absolutely nothing. I'm just grateful she's not mad at me, okay? She didn't come back because she went away for the weekend. And of course, me being the typical me, I'm thinking that I scared her away. And she's like, oh no. And I gave her the note and she looked at me like with puppy eyes or something. I mean, she's like, I looked at her, I'm trying to be secretive about it. I gave her the note that said, I'm really glad you're not mad at me. I told my therapist I'd scared you away. And of course, we already know what my therapist said. You gotta have boundaries, Laura. You gotta, you have to not be so, send one email and then get a response, or leave one phone call and get a response, not a million emails or a million phone calls, the same thing I did with my therapist. I looked at her, I laughed, and I said, I feel really bad. And she's like, well, you don't want to feel bad either because that just produces guilt. I'm like, yeah, I'm the queen of guilt. And we talked about my mom and everything, and it's like, my mom just is in la la land. She just thinks, like, so anyway, emailed to the woman who told me she wished to help me fight Marion. I'm very sorry it's so overwhelming and intense. That's why I've completely backed off from contacting you. I now 100% fear that I scared you away. This morning I told my new therapist what I did, how I behaved with you, and how badly I felt about my, quote, bad behavior, unquote. But she told me that guilt served no purpose and that I needed to forgive myself and accept the sad fact that I might not hear back from you again. That was an email that I sent to her. And then she showed up last night. I was happy, okay? Now, this is a big thing here because my friend is asking questions and I'm answering them to the best of my ability, okay? You and I both know that when it comes to Marion, my mother is the queen of, quote, talking big, unquote, but when push comes to shove, she cowers like a little girl and cries when Marion says boo to her, okay? Cheryl and Mary are taking my mom seriously, at least to a point, because my friend thought maybe they're not taking her seriously. My mom is going to be meeting with Mary to discuss meeting with a lawyer. However, parentheses, call me crazy, but I can't seem to shake this fear. Legitimate fear my naive childless mother completely negates, that Marion is going to retaliate against my mother's defiance in some unexpected way, agitate my mother to no end, and ultimately, indirectly, via really upsetting my mother, whose legitimate distressed feelings are far too often viewed as craziness, just like mine are far too often, okay? Send my mother right back to the nut house. Yep, I think that Cheryl was having problems at work and simply did not wish to be bothered by a legitimate case against her and Mary. And this is a good thing. My mom told two of her friends about what Marion has been doing to me and doing in general, and those two friends actually believe my mom and think that what Marion has been doing is horrible. My mom plans to meet with a lawyer very soon. I'm sure you get that I fear what Marion might do in retaliation against my mom over my mom having the nerve to stand up to Marion. Based on Marion's latest unwavering slander of me, I really don't think Marion is very stable. How do we know that she isn't secretly very mentally ill herself? My mom even let Cheryl know that my mom is afraid of Marion. Now check this out. I'll end. My mom was so proud of herself. I talked to her in the shelter, okay? She was so proud of herself. She's like, Laura, I stood up to Marion. I'm like, okay, let's throw a party, Mom. Yeah, tell me what happened. Well, Marion, my mom's house is getting overrun by flies, okay? We're discussing the flies here. A dog woman said you hang up a bag of water and put pennies in it, and that's supposed to keep the flies away, supposedly. It's an old wives' tale. She says works. I don't know. Anyway, flies. We've been discussing the flies. I'm probably going to come home to flies. My mom's been killing the flies. She's been getting rid of like one fly at a time. She says she'll let it go into the door, close the door, and then go around to the back and open the screen door, right, to let one fly out at a time. It's ridiculous. I don't know what the deal with the flies is. Anyway, bitch Marion, cunt Marion, telling my mom, spray raid. And my mom stood up to her, and she's so proud of herself. She's so proud of herself. She said, I stood up to Marion. I said, no, I have dogs, and you don't spray raid in the house. And Marion was sarcastic. She's like, you treat those dogs like children. Yeah, Marion, you're just like Hope, just like Donald, belittling me over legitimate concerns. Omar's blue, my little puppy we just got is blue because Donald left ink on the ground. I wake up to a blue puppy and my feelings are negated. Oh, it's no big deal. Omar drinks bleach that Donald leaves on the ground. Omar's eating tape off the chair. No big deal. Imagine if you had a kid, Laura. That was Hope, okay? Marion's the same fucking way, okay? My mom stood up to Marion, and that's great, okay? So, but remember, I am part animal, part wild animal. I'm just like Russell, that terrier. He bites, I bite too, okay? I bite too. I totally relate to him. I totally get it, Russell. And he's a cute little thing. And I said to the woman, because get this, you guys aren't even going to believe this. Remember, I don't talk to anyone unless they have dogs. If they walk by with a dog, I'll stop my exercise and I'll take the headphones, my earphones out of my ear, and I'll talk to them and say, what kind of dog is that? And I'll chat. I even saw that woman who had this other little dog, Willie, and he was a little dog too, and he barks at, she says big dogs that shouldn't be off leashes sometimes. One time he's leery too. He's leery of other animals bigger because they've bothered him, and she says they shouldn't be off a leash if they're going to bother her little dog, you know, and she picks him up in her arms. And I've like, yeah, in California, I had to do that with my Omar. That dog wouldn't leave me alone. They'll come and she had the same thing happen. She picked her little dog. It's just a little dog like Omar. It's some kind of shit, whatever it is. It was a mix, I think. And she picked him up in his arms, and some dogs are so aggressive, they'll actually jump on you. I've had that happen more than once when Anna picked Omar up in my arms. Any big dog comes near me, I'm going to pick Omar up in my arms. You know, you don't trust any big dog. Okay? But anyway, anybody who goes by who doesn't have a dog, you don't give them the time of day. But anyone who comes by, male or female, has a dog, I'll talk to them. But, you know, I'm like, what's your dog's name? One guy was like, mine? No, I'm not asking your name, I'm asking your dog's name. I don't give a fuck about you. Okay? Anyway, yeah, I bite too, Russell. But check this out, this woman, I said, well, Russell doesn't bite you. She's like, yeah, he does. I'm like, oh my God, how admirable. You keep him and he bites you too? And she's like, yeah, I've tried. I bet she has half-assed. She really doesn't want him to have nowhere to go or something, because she's like, yeah, I've tried to give him back 5 times and they won't take him. But she could force them to take him back. You know what I mean? I think she feels bad for him or something because he was abused, and he even bites her, you know? But I'm sure he'll grow to trust her, okay? Okay? So diaper, yeah, I'm well aware of that I'm, quote, desirable, unquote, okay? I'm sure I'm desirable even to some women. I don't have it in me anymore to give my heart to anybody, number one. Number two, I'm leery of all men. I'm pretty much leery of everybody, okay? So when I say, yeah, nobody would want me, I'm saying that this is the deal, you know what I mean? That's the deal, where I don't trust anybody. I'm leery, particularly of all men. And like I said, I don't differentiate. I can talk to anybody. I'm polite to anybody, from criminal to whatever. But I'm leery of all men. It doesn't matter if you're a homeless man leering at me or a man in a suit and tie. That's it. Bye-bye.